it actually live? Yeah, it is. It's live. Hello. Welcome. Right. Fucking hell. Trying to get comfy. So, I've made the effort to come out here. Hang on, let's just straighten that out. Made the effort to come out here to capture a sunset. Right. And it's overcast. So we're not getting much other than the little breakthrough you're seeing now. It's overcast, so it's not going to be the prettiest sunset, and it's also a bit windy, so there's probably a bit of wind noise, and I'm freezing as well because of not moving and come out without a jacket. But I've made an effort, so the show must go on. Right, I'm going to talk. I'm going to give you, seen this thing online, 7 rules. I did a video, I released it earlier, I had about 3 of a minute. So I'm going to read the 7 rules, but before I do, just found this little section in Scott's book that I think is worth a mention. So I'm just going to read this. It's called the Mirror Never Lies test. All right, so I'll just read it. Right. The importance of self-reflection, courage, and living in alignment with one's own values is nothing new. It was espoused by Plato in 400 BC, as well as by modern-day thinkers and commentators such as Brené Brown and Jordan Peterson. So that the importance of self-reflection, courage, and living in alignment with one's own values is nothing new. It's like what I've said about, you know, creating that identity, which is like your value here, and living in alignment with it, or living in accordance with it. You know what I mean? So, you know, whatever you want for your life, that identity, that vision, you've got to live in accordance with it. Exactly right. Next bit. How can we develop the courage to look adversity directly in the eye and overcome it with ease? I discovered a powerful way that has worked for me. Every single day, I undertake what I call the mirror test. I do my best to pass it, but some days I fail. How does it work? At the end of each day, before you go to sleep, especially if you had an emotional conversation, had to make a difficult decision or overcome a challenging situation, look in the mirror and be completely honest with yourself, taking stock of your thoughts, feelings and behaviours for the day. There can be no hiding place because the mirror never lies. Ask yourself what your intention was. Did you do everything to communicate as effectively as possible? Did you have that difficult conversation? How did you get on? Did you make the best possible decision you could based on the best possible information you had at the time? Not in some Machiavellian or manipulative way in order for you to win at someone else's expense, but with genuinely openness, curiosity, most importantly, zero judgment. Why? Because the 2 golden rules of all successful communication are: number 1, it's not about you. Number 2, first seek to understand before being understood. That's very true according to Scott's teachings. But the bit here where he says not in some Machiavellian or manipulative way in order for you to win at someone else's expense, but with genuine openness, curiosity, and most importantly, zero judgment. Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing I would say, I think I've done a few videos on Machiavellianism, being, you know, the Machiavellian tactics, and I've wrote some articles on my website about it because I genuinely believe that that's one of the great skills that you should learn. Not to absolutely shaft people, but to understand it, make sure you're not being manipulated. Don't be weak, and sometimes it's okay to, you know, get what you can within reason, you know. So yeah, I thought that were quite good. Right, okay, are we going to get this sunset? Doesn't look like it. It's definitely overcast. Right, but I'm here anyway. And people are waiting for it. You never know, might break through. I can just see like horrendous black clouds coming over, so I think it is gonna stay overcast. Hopefully it won't rain, not above me anyway. Right, so the 7 things that I found, but let me just get comfy first. Yeah, the 7 laws that I found. Did a video, well, I released it today, my latest long form, and that's kind of got 3 in it, but here we go. Right, law number 1, the Pareto principle. You might have heard of this. The 80-20 rule, right? And the thing to remember with the 80-20 tool or Pareto principle is you're looking for the 20% of things that give you the 80% of benefit. There's always this, so you're going to try and find that, you know, that thing, that the 20% that gives you 80% of the benefit. Sometimes it's not exactly 20, you know, sometimes it might be 10 and 90 or 30 and 70, whatever, but you always find this. I found it in business where, like, you know, when you get a difficult client and you're not really getting much out of them financially or any kind of, you know, there's always 1 or 2 clients or 1 or 2, sometimes it's 1 or 2 people within an organisation that give you all that hassle, which you get very little from. I had it with one of my clients once, and in the end we came to an agreement to not work together anymore, and fucking hell, did I feel better after that. I remember at the time thinking I needed the money, but after we parted ways, bloody hell, I felt relieved. So I agree with that. And then the strange thing is, then you can, you know, I then was able to focus on other projects, and my work got a lot better. Felt a lot better about it, delivering better quality work for other clients, and which led to better outcomes basically. So yeah, Pareto principle, or, you know, the 80-20 rule is definitely probably one of the best. Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. This is quite a good one. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. You can get this one wrong, yes. It's basically covering procrastination, right? So if you've got, let's say you've got 4 weeks to do something, and you start and you do it over 4 weeks, it will take you 4 weeks. I remember thinking this when I was studying at university, and I'd leave it till last minute and then cram it all in at the end, you know, in like 2 days, 2 solid days, and not sleep and get it all done. However, I don't even think that that's a particularly best outcome to work. There's a difficult one, this. I would rather work focused, small focused blocks of time repeatedly until it's done over multiple days, rather than trying to cram it all in. So, you know, I certainly wouldn't spend all 4 weeks on a task. I'd probably do an hour, then stop, then the next day do an hour, then stop, then do another hour, that kind of thing. So I think that one's mixed, Parkinson's law, but it still is, you know, it's a law, because work does expand to fill the time available. Right, number 3, law of diminishing returns. Beyond a certain point, each additional unit of input yields less and less result. This is a good one. I think it relates to Parkinson's law, because the law of diminishing returns, right, which is, you know, like after a certain point you become less, let's say less productive, less effective. That's like, I always say, like, you should never try and work a 10 or a 12 hour day, because towards the end of it, you're going to be so unproductive, and you're just making yourself more and more tired, and it will catch up with yourself. I'm a big advocate for working in short focused blocks of time, blocks of about 60 to 90 minutes each, right? And then have a small break. And you want to work like that. You don't want to do too many of those blocks in a day as well. I happen to believe that 3 focused blocks of time in a day is the perfect amount over a long period of time. It's something that's sustainable. Yeah, there are occasions where you have to work longer. Like last week I had a day where I had to complete like a tender, and I did everything all in one day, just smashed it, one full day. I did do just multiple blocks like that, but I got the whole thing done. And occasionally it's okay to do that, but you can't do it every day. You'll just become too tired. So I think the law of diminishing returns is absolute, you know what I mean? You've got to, at some point you stop being as productive, so you've got to be careful of that. And don't think you can just push on. You know, if you get to, like, you've worked solid, like really focused, it's only when you work super focused that this happens. If you're not, if you're just like half in it and you're just like fucking around looking at emails and maybe twiddling on your phone, then you're not really working focused. But if you do work focused, after about 60 to 90 minutes, you will become tired. You then need to take a break. Otherwise, you'll be hitting the law of diminishing returns and nothing will get done. Well, very little will get done. Every minute after that, or every 10 minutes, will become less and less productive and yield less result. Next one, number 4. The Peter principle, right? This is, in a hierarchy, in any hierarchy, people rise to their level of incompetence, right? Meaning, you can only get as far as your level of incompetence or your level of competence. What that means is, you know, never stop learning. There are these, I worked in corporate, and there are these sort of like people, middle managers usually, that sort of breed inside the corporate machine, where they stay a middle manager and they haven't really got many skills. I don't know if you ever noticed this, some of them, they've not really got many skills, and they kind of rise to that level and stay there. Some people think they get promoted, but they're never really going beyond that management position, you know, whereas if you're the sort of person that's constantly learning, you're probably not even chasing that. You've probably got your eye on creating your own business and just going for it and leaving the corporate world. You know, that's certainly my opinion of it. So yeah, these sort of middle managers rise to that position, then they stay there, you know, but they're not really that useful. Take them out of that environment, put them in the real world, they probably just fall over like a stack of dominoes. But anyway, number 5, right? It's called Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to become a good measure. This one's, I don't like this one, but it's about like when you have a measure or a target or a KPI and you fixate on it too much, it ends up becoming a sticking point, like you get stuck at it, instead of focusing on where the value really is. Do I need to turn around so it's less windy? Where the value really is. Not my favourite one, but anyway, there it is. Gall's law, next one, number 6, Gall's law. A complex system that works has probably evolved from a simple system that works, right? This is all about starting simple. Minimum viable product is a term. It was coined by a guy called Eric Ries. He had the MVP method. I tried this loads of times, MVP. The problem is, right, when you develop a new product or service, you can't help yourself. when you're nearing the launch, or let's say even shortly after launch, instead of letting it run, you know, and really try and, because you're supposed to, like, MVP is like agile, it's like feature release. You release so much value and then wait for early feedback and then release a bit more and a bit more. But we become so fucking itchy and, like, what's the word? Not itchy. We can't help ourselves. We just want to do more even before it's launched. So we start throwing in more and more and more. And this is where perfectionism, like, I watched my cousin do this. He was releasing all this work that he'd been working on, and he couldn't fucking release it because he's too much of a perfectionist. You know what I mean? When he should have just got something out there, and you end up wasting years and years. And the other thing is you just deliver too much before you get feedback. Common in, like, software projects, obviously. I'm in software business. You can't just let it sit and see what clients say. You've got to keep adding more and more. That is a definite one to watch. Right, number 7 is the principle of least effort. This is where people choose the path of least resistance. And the idea is, if you can, you want to make your right action, whatever the right action is you've got to take, you want to make that the easy one, the one of least effort. Do it the easy way. As I'd always say, what's the easy way? Well, anyway, yeah, that's the idea. Take the path of least resistance. However, that reminds me of something else, because I did a video on making decisions, and I used something that Naval Ravikant said, which is when you're torn between two paths, like a decision, you should always take the one that offers the most pain in the short term. And that's generally because, based on, what's it called, the principle of least effort, we always take the path of least resistance. Now, when it's a decision, if you think about it, give some examples as well, but if it's a tough decision and you take the easy path, that's generally the easy way out, the one that's not offering the most amount of benefit or change. Usually the most amount of benefit or change requires pain in the short term. You could see that on anything like diet, you know, like losing weight. The more discomfort and pain, or even like going to the gym, you know, the more discomfort and pain in the short term is going to get you the better result. So I'm not sure about that one. There are times where you don't want the law of least effort when it comes to making changes and decisions. Right, we're definitely not getting this sunset. I'm absolutely fucking freezing. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up actually, because it's just full of clouds, isn't it? We're not going to see it. Yeah. So I'm just going to rattle them off again, and I'm going to finish, right? So number 1, Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. Focus on what the 20% that gives you the 80% of results. Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Right? To me, that's don't procrastinate. Work in short, focused blocks of time. Number 3, the law of diminishing returns. Beyond a certain point, each additional unit of input yields less and less results. That is, when you get to the end of that short focused block of time, if you carry on working, you become less productive. You should quit and save your energy and have a little break so that you can go again. And I'm going to finish them. Number 3, Peter's principle. In a hierarchy, people rise to their level of incompetence. Therefore, keep learning, right? Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to become a good measure. Make sure you focus on the value and not just hitting a target. Gall's law, number 6. Complex system that works has probably evolved from a simple system that works. Start simple, minimum viable product, get early feedback. Number 7, last one, principle of least effort. People choose the path of least resistance. Make the right action the easy one. Right, I'm fucking freezing. I'm wrapping up because I think we're about done here. Yeah. And I'm cold. Right, thanks for listening. Yeah, we're not going to get anything. Right, thanks for listening. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe. See you all next time.